So I've got Barry's magazine spread downloaded. I'm going to do one video for everybody, hopefully. Should be under 15 minutes. Okay, Barry's first page is blank. So when you do a file export of your PDF, you could just do the 2-3 and do the range instead of getting that first blank page in there. Then you would only export page 2 and 3 if you just do a range and then 2-3 when exporting out your PDF. This looks good, Barry. I would just say I like this image. I think that definitely counts as altering the image. I like the B and the A. Possibly maybe an outer glow on them, although that might make it look cheesy. I'm not sure. There's an effects panel in InDesign that you could experiment with and try and make the B and the A maybe glow. Or you could maybe do like a copy of them, much like this. Or you could just leave it. I mean, it looks pretty good, but I think maybe something to make it pop off the background a little bit more might be nice. You could try a white stroke, but that might not look good. It's just something you'd have to experiment with. This text wrap looks pretty good. I like how you're splitting up your paragraphs a little bit. I like your drop caps. I'd say this little line right here is very lonely, so I would just delete that so that it doesn't look quite so lonely. And you know, maybe this one almost looks lonely because there's only 2 lines, but it's not as bad as one line being by itself. So definitely delete this, maybe make this come up here, and then maybe add in a couple more lines, because you probably want them to be lining up with these boxes to be lining up with each other. This defining a nation, I like this headline. I just would work on maybe a font pair. And maybe just like make defining A bigger than nation, or either make nation bigger than defining IA. Like work with some contrast between it to make it have more visual appeal, I guess. Maybe try adding in, I don't know if you need to add in any color into that, but you could try color. If you don't want color, just work on a contrasting font pair and contrasting font sizes. That kind of thing. Maybe you can try like all caps, which you already have, but then lowercase, to create what do you call it? Gosh, contrast. But anyway, I think it looks really good. And let's take a look at the let's quickly just look at your INDD file. I think I did notice there were some problems. We just need to check your links. Obviously, you can do this later. My computer's totally freaking out. But I would just suggest, you know, making sure everything's in CMYK. Everything appears to be in, this is in grayscale, which is fine. But yeah, just make sure you get it in CMYK, and the effective PPI is, this one's pretty low. Where's this at? So I can actually go to the link. This image is quite low. The effective PPI is 123. So I mean, you might need to size it down. Even if you size it down, push it while pushing shift with the white arrow, it's still, the effective PPI is still really low. So you might have to find a different image for that. This one's a little better. 278's doable, but this one is probably too low for print. That's quite a bit off from 300. So yeah, just make sure you check your image PPI and DPI and whatever, and CMYK color mode and things like that. So anyway, let's go back. Let's go to the drawing board here. We're going to go to Ethan's. I actually have his open here. So Ethan's looking pretty cool. I have some of the same things with this. Let's see if you're going to your bleed lines. Yes, you are. Is Barry doing that? Yeah, okay. And make sure you get some numbers on this too, Ethan. You need numbers on your pages. I would bring this guy all the way down to the bleed line. He needs to come all the way down here on the bottom, so that he's meeting up the bleed line. I like your design. I would say same thing with this. Find a good font pair. Um, you know, this could be like a scripty font, maybe, paired with more of a, you know, something that has contrast, basically. I'm not saying that I'm finding stuff that's amazing right now, but, and this might be too much contrast, to be honest with you, but you get the idea. Try to find a good font pair. Something that's contrasting. You know, you might want to put it on 2 lines. You know, who knows? You're just going to have to experiment, but this is probably a good place to put it. Another thing, this text wrap looks good. This looks good. Also, Barry, I think you're missing a quote. Ethan, I would just make up the edge of that guitar here. And, you know, you might have to do that in Illustrator. Just bring this in, do an image trace, and then you could probably, you know, try to make up that with maybe the blob brush tool. Sample the color from the guitar. Anything else? I don't really see a lot else that needs to happen with this other than a better headline. Maybe bigger, too. But yeah, I think it's looking pretty good, Ethan. Just page numbers, make up the edge of that, and then do a good font pair and work with this headline a little bit more. Okay, moving on. Oh, and make sure that bleed line is right on that. Okay, let's go to Tana's. She's got everything right in here. Ooh, interesting image there. Oh, this looks a lot different than what you had in class the other day. Okay, I'm going to open up the INDD file. I like it. It's mostly imagery. I'm kind of wondering where you're going to get your text in there. I like this. I wish there was more of her leg here. You know, I almost wondered maybe you could just put it, I wonder if you could just put it over here. And then it would look more natural. Of course, now we got a mess here with this, so you've got quite a few different things going on here. I was just trying that as an experiment. I really like the Rebel Girl text with the chain coming off. That's like a nice, that looks great. I almost wonder if this couldn't be the first page, like the cover page. And then you could maybe use that on this page and then have more room for text. Because the only thing I see with this is that you're going to have a really hard time finding a place for body copy, other than maybe like right here, and it just... We need to make this look like a real magazine, so it does need to be mostly centered around delivering an article to the audience, not just, hey, this is just a fun space to play with imagery in. I do think you have some really good ideas here, but we just need to kind of rearrange things so that there's a place for body copy. So if you look at Barry's or Ethan's, we've got, you know, quite a bit of area for body copy. But I really do think that this is really striking imagery, and I really enjoy it. I wonder if this is an image trace. We do need to check our files, make sure they're in CMYK, make sure the effective PPI is looking good. Some of these are kind of low. Like this one is lower than 300. So that might not be good. So definitely check your links. But yeah, I do like it though, and I really like this Rebel Girl font. That could potentially go on this image with the ball and chain, and then you could maybe stick with, maybe kind of go back to the drawing board, or either just move all this stuff up so that you have room for some text, and maybe sizing this down. I'm not quite sure. Just to make room for text, and you need to do a text wrap and those kinds of things. But very striking imagery, very nice color scheme. A great start, that's for sure. Marshall, let's Let's go in here. He's got his fonts, links, PDF. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. So, okay. You didn't do yours as a spread. You didn't outline yours as or you didn't export it as a spread. So when you export out your PDF, make sure you check the checkbox that says spread. I'll go over that again in class. I'm missing your links for some reason. I can probably relink them. If I just go back into your links folder, which one is this? Shiro. Oop, nope, I'm missing your links. So this isn't the right links. This is to the other thing. So I'm missing your links. Make sure you do a separate file package so that you get your current links on your document. But I get a decent idea of what you got going here. I would take the white background out of this image. Take the white background off this too. Possibly add a white stroke to this so it doesn't blend in with the black. I don't know, are these threaded? Yes. Which I want all of you to have threaded text boxes. I like your little note there. Make sure you get a quote in there. This is an interesting cover, but we do need to check links as well. RGB, you know, are they high enough resolution? We need to be checking the effective PPI number. Some of these are not high enough. Sometimes you just need to shrink them down in size. I mean, you might just have to shrink this one down, you know, until it gives you 300 PPI, basically. Or close to, which this one it's gonna get pretty small. Maybe one way of getting around that is if you took this into Illustrator and traced it and then brought it in. It might not trace very well though because it might be too low resolution. You might have to find a different image of him. I know he's hard to find an image of, but yeah, I would definitely suggest making sure all of your images are the correct PPI. And yeah. This one's not high resolution either, so make sure all your images are high resolution. And take out the white backgrounds. But I do like this. But everything's low resolution. I mean, this one could potentially be traced in Illustrator without too much trouble, and that would fix the problem. And maybe try doing a font pair with this. I mean, maybe like, you know, a contrasting font. Like this could be like a scripty font, and then this one could be more of a Stay Helvetica. And don't forget a quote. But other than that, that's the feedback I have so far. Your bleeds look pretty good. I would change probably this color to, you know, maybe match the background color. So like this color doesn't match, so I would definitely like, you know, maybe make it match so that it makes sense. Anyway, that's about all I have for now. You guys just keep going. I'll make a separate video on your demo topics and due dates here in a minute.